this place actually cares about what I want. I felt like I was a part of the decision-making process. So, we talk in our one of our principles is unity and about co-creation, right? When people feel involved in the process of choosing their path, they're way more committed to that process now as a result. And you being in the same boat as them, asking this request to do it, they're more likely to say yes. So by asking what they value, they feel like you care more, and they're right, because you do. They feel more in control of their destiny, like they have a choice. And they feel united because now they're a part of this process of where their treatment's going to go. What's the plan going to look like for them?
Yeah, and the principle of unity, it also, when we have that feeling of unity between us, it creates more loyalty. So then that you have playing for you, as in people will be more loyal coming back to you in the future, likely also referring other people to you. Yep. And it also increases their, you could say, forgiveness. Right? If something doesn't go quite right, some people, they're, protest immediately. Where when you have that unity, you're far more, like a team, and it creates a much nicer environment. Okay, as we're sort of slowly moving towards the end, I know that you have a nice way of explaining ethical persuasion and how it changes people from within. And that is that story where you say, when the cat is away, the mice don't play. I think that's very insightful, and I think it explains really nicely how ethical persuasion can be used to create changes from within. Would you mind elaborating on that?
Yeah, so oftentimes when we say this word influence or persuasion, and sometimes people have a negative connotation to that word, right? Especially persuasion in the States. Truthfully, influence by definition is just any action that gets people to change their behavior. So it's kind of this top-level category phrase, influence. And under this category of influence, there's all kinds of subcategories that can influence that change in people's behavior. Persuasion is one of those things on one end of the spectrum, okay? You could persuade them to change. Money, bonuses, incentives can get people to change people's behavior. Family, religion can get people to change people's behavior. But on this other end of the spectrum, opposite of persuasion, are some things that persuasion kind of gets lumped into. It kind of gets a bad rap. Things like manipulation, coercion, intimidation, hierarchical authority, your boss or somebody in charge of you telling you to do something. And all of those things have something in common. So coercion, manipulation, force, somebody telling you to do stuff like a boss. And the thing they have in common is simply this. You don't really feel like you have a viable choice. Now, I guess if somebody puts a gun to your head, do it or don't, yeah, you had a choice, right? Do it or die. But you see, it's not a viable choice. You don't really feel like you have a choice. So at its core, what it means is you don't really feel like you're in control. Somebody else is in control of you. If you're out of control of the situation, that's when it's manipulation, coercion, force, intimidation, people telling you to do stuff. Persuasion, by definition, and this is why it's at the opposite end of the spectrum, is all about giving people choices.